failed to score. But both clubs can call themselves FA Cup giants. Manchester United have won the trophy on 10 occasions, a record. Arsenal have 8 wins, and one or other of the clubs have contested 9 of the last 13 finals. He's not old enough to remember all of them, but some of you at home, watching perhaps even in the pub today, will no doubt have great recall of some of the meetings between these two heavyweights of the English game. Interesting to read Ferguson saying, as he in fact inferred there, that this could be a defining moment in both their seasons. And really, Trevor, just before the teams come out, a word about the significance of the FA Cup, because when we see the lineups, certainly United are taking it very seriously.
Well, Veron's injured, and you know, Solskjaer comes in, and that's probably the only slight variation you could have from them being their strongest side. They won in December in the league. They won well here, as Alan said, and they worked really hard at closing Arsenal down. And I think psychologically, if they can keep that momentum going, they've still got to go to Highbury later in the season in the Premiership, so they'll want to win this one and still be unbeaten against them this season.
Just listen to the noise, 67,000 again, packed inside Old Trafford. Is it ever any other way? Arsenal will wear the all-blue strip today, and Manchester United making their way out a little bit more slowly. Roy Keane with the young mascot, and Fabian Barthez is back in goal after missing 2 matches with a thigh injury. That broken toe sustained playing for Argentina, I bet that pleased Fergie, rules Veron out of midfield. Ryan Giggs' calf cleared up, Paul Scolds' groin injury passed a test. So really, with Solskjaer playing, it's just about, Trevor, Ferguson's best team, isn't it?
Yeah, that only option would be Veron in midfield and Scolds the half and half up front. But it's a very attacking side. Solskjaer and Nistelrooy really 2 out-and-out strikers. Scolds coming from midfield, and Giggs and Beckham giving them the width to supply that service to the front two.
Van Nistelrooy with 27 goals for Manchester United this season. Now, Arsenal's top scorer isn't on that caption because Thierry Henry has been left on the bench. England goal scorer Francis Jeffers plays with Wiltord up front. Dennis Bergkamp didn't even travel, neither did Gilberto Silva, who played in China, of course, for Brazil. And I suppose, Trevor, this is all to do with the Champions League match against Ajax on Tuesday night.
Yes, well, Bergkamp will certainly want to play against that team. Henry's had a few games, kept him on the bench, though, just in case. I think, you know, if you look at the defence, is their first pick, really. Tarla will give it a very combative edge in midfield. Perez coming back near enough to his very best. And up front, Jeffers a chance to continue his good form and a new pairing with Wiltord.
Well, who could come on from the bench and make a difference? Forlan maybe for Manchester United, and obviously Henry's up the sleeve of Arsene Wenger, so to speak. And it's all very tactical sometimes, the selection nowadays. But Trevor, this point about the fixture congestion, and I blame the Champions League for it, by the way, you know my view on that competition, but to be fair to the Champions League, this time next year there'll be 4 fewer fixtures, so there'll be 4 free dates for these managers to stop all this argument about friendly internationals and so on.
Well, I think you've got to have football authorities all sit down together to make sure when you've cancelled 2 friendlies, so the fact that there's only a couple left, surely they can select a week where it's not going to impact whether it's FA Cup or Champions League coming up shortly, and really give the international manager the opportunity to play his best strength side throughout the 90 minutes. And as you say, next with 4 less matches, there shouldn't be this debate that we're having at the moment.
We ought to just clarify that for our viewers that don't follow it as closely as we do. The Champions League next season goes to a knockout competition after the first phase, so it'll be just like the old European Cup in the second half of the season, and there are 1 or 2 of us pretty pleased about that. Anyway, here we have the lineup today. This is about the FA Cup, hopefully a competition that's being revived by a tie like this. And Manchester United, who've played both their ties at home so far, Portsmouth 4-1, West Ham, apologies Trevor, 6-0.
Yeah, thanks for that.
And Arsenal have played both theirs at home, Oxford 2-0 and Farnborough. Of course, that should have been away, but we all know what happened. It was played at Highbury, and Farnborough were duly beaten 5-1, so there you go. And the 6th round draw will be on Monday lunchtime. We have another live match for you tomorrow night, of course, as Gary mentioned, but here's Jeff Winter who, with a smile on his face, told me before the match he's just been to Dubai for 10 days for a break with his wife, and that's why he's looking so tanned. I think that refers back to some words in his direction from a well-known manager last week. At any rate, I wonder what the two managers will think of his performance today. Manchester United in red, of course, attacking what we used to call the Stretford end, and up goes the roar. And off goes this live fifth round cup tie at Old Trafford, and straight away Lauren for Arsenal in the right back position wins a against the challenge. And oh well, they tried to take it quickly, and Winter told them to put it back where it was.
Just seen as they're lining up to defend this kick, where Giggs actually is going to start, it looks, through the middle with Van Nistelrooy, and Solskjaer's just lining up on the left-hand side of midfield, so you know, that's a slight variation to what we thought.
Well, they do play lots of mind games, Ferguson and Wenger, and I thought maybe one of them would have a surprise up his sleeve for the other, and certainly the way it started, as Trevor says, Solskjaer's playing wide left. In fact, he's just committed a foul, and Jeff Winter says, called it a bit. Vieira was the man who went down. He's usually in the thick of it when these two teams meet. Indeed, so is Roy Keane, so that's a contest we can look forward to. That was a little uncomfortable, shall we say?
Yeah, a bit late. Paul Scolds it was in the end who came through. It didn't quite follow through. Vieira felt the contact and probably then rode it round, so probably looked a bit worse. But there'll probably be one or two feisty ones early on.
I don't think tackling's quite the strongest part of Paul Scholes' game, but there are many other aspects to it which have made him one of the most admired footballers in the country. There's Francis Jeffers, who at least gained some consolation for the England team on Wednesday night. The second half team, that was.
I thought he did well. He took the goal well. I mean, his strength when he was Everton was his movement and his running off the ball. He's been in the wilderness, what with injuries and so forth, for a year or two. I think it's probably his biggest game since joining Arsenal, because he's coming into the game in form. It's a big match. He's not coming into a secondary game, which sometimes he is introduced. So let's see if he can actually perform on this level now.
Yeah, it's a decent test for the former Everton player who missed most of his first season at Highbury with injury. Now then, it's a throw-in for Arsenal. Lauren. Tarla gets beaten to it. It's retrieved, though, by Sylvain Wiltord, who scored the goal here that clinched the double at the end of last season. Now, here's Van Nistelrooy, a man in form. He's up against Martin Keown. And the near post... Oh! Jeff Winter, hands behind his back. Manchester United's players don't appeal. But then there was a follow-up between Scolds and Vieira. And it's all gone off. Seaman's come tearing out of goal to keep the peace. Every player comes over, bar about two. And that happened, well, Scolds and Vieira tangling Trevor after this incident in the penalty area.
Well, Sol Campbell goes right through Solskjaer. That aggravates everyone. And Scolds, who already, remember, had the tackle on Vieira early on, followed it up with a second challenge himself. So let's see whether Jeff Winter falls up on Campbell or Scolds.
Well, I was just saying, no Manchester United player actually appealed for a penalty. The crowd did. Paul Scolds is going to get booked, that's for certain. And as you say, it is his second foul of the match, but it just goes to show what a narrow line this match is always on, isn't it, between these two clubs. Something happens, and there's mayhem.
What was it, 3 minutes gone? I think you say it's pretty competitive cup tie at the moment, and Sol Campbell got his head to the ball. I don't think it was a penalty. Well, what he did do was follow through just to let Solskjaer know, look, I'm around.
Neil Barry is the fourth official who Sir Alex Ferguson exchanged words with there on the touchline. Back on the pitch, it's Gary Neville. Of course, a lot of cards have been shown in matches between the clubs. One recalls Keane. Uh-oh, this is getting nasty again now. Martin Keown, who's gone down. Van Nistelrooy is the man in the thick of it. They're surrounding him, they're pushing him, and there's real trouble here for Jeff Winter.
He's got to pick up a card of some sort, Nistelrooy, for the challenge on Keown.
The right foot was really high. Now, don't forget there's history here. Keown has just been fined £5,000 by the FA for pushing Van Nistelrooy in the league game. This is revenge. Gary Neville acting on behalf of his colleague, but it looks to me like, well, as I said, these two did have this confrontation before Christmas, and it's obviously played on Van Nistelrooy's mind. He went for Keown early on, and he, like Scolds, is in the book. Now then, you want a bit of excitement? 4 minutes gone, Trevor.
Well, it'd be nice for somebody to kick the ball now and again at the moment, but he went for Keown. He didn't make a lot of contact, he sort of bundled him over, and I think that was probably why he ended up with just a yellow card.
The two captains have been called across by the referee, Trevor. Vieira and Keane. While you're watching this again, Mr. Winter has called the two captains over for a call-it chat after only 5 minutes. And this isn't commonplace, actually, and it's significant. It's happening in a match between two clubs who've had such tense and titanic battles in the past. Well, these the two captains are actually two of the biggest competitors.
I was laughing there because I thought, well, those are a good pair to actually say calm down, because at the moment they're two who haven't got involved and usually are.
Well, Scolds and Van Nistelrooy are now treading the proverbial line, aren't they, after only 5 minutes play? Now, don't tell me the FA Cup doesn't matter anymore. Here's Lauren. Oh, Van Nistelrooy's left Lauren on the ground. Now, if the referee saw that, oh, Jeff Winter's got to play on twice. And Lauren's writhing on the pitch as Solskjaer tries to get Giggs away. And we are in for a real humdinger here. I think you can tell that as well at home as we can. Now then, did he see the first incident?
Well, that's the ball, and I think Van Nistelrooy just followed through. I don't think it was as bad as whether he did catch Lauren, and that's why he stayed down. He's still on the floor getting treatment now. I myself don't think that was another yellow card.
Well, it would have been a red, of course, had it been, to follow for Van Nistelrooy. I must admit, I thought a bit like you that Lauren made a lot of that, but he is still on the ground, and Gary Lewin, the physio, doesn't usually leave them lying there unless there's work to be done. Arsene Wenger must surely take a hand here and say, just keep your heads. Look at this.
I just don't see the arm or the forearm come away from the body as if he's deliberately doing it.
Trevor, I think there's another incident here. Vieira's being led back to the referee by Seaman. This, I think, is dissent. The yellow card has been taken out again. There was a long conversation. Yes, it's a warning. It's another yellow. There was a long conversation, and it's still going on. He would be well advised. I know that the captain's allowed to speak, but he's already had one conversation with Jeff Winter. Then Vieira went back not once, but twice, and has been booked.
And we did mention that he was chatting to the two captains to calm it down, and they're very competitive, and then within 2 minutes, the captain, for something verbal, gets a yellow card himself.
Yeah, Beckham had been fouled, but it was the prolonged conversation when Vieira went back the second time that forced Jeff Winter to get his book out for the third time in 7 minutes. Well, are we going to have... Well, I don't want a red card, it would spoil it, but it's heading that way.
There's certainly not been any bit of footballing incident up to now, because we've been too busy talking about the exchanges and yellow cards.
Yep. Neville looking for Van Nistelrooy. Sol Campbell across. Edu challenged by Beckham. And that's Giggs trying to flick it on. Wiltord. Well, I was looking forward to watching the football today, and just for the moment, you're looking for the next tackle, really. This is Vieira being roundly booed. Perez gets a touch, but not a particularly good one. Sylvester's kicked the ball away there. Disputing the verdict of the assistant referee, no doubt. Tarla, back to Lauren. Vieira. And now Jeffers. Oh, it's running on for Perez. Chance for Arsenal. The back heel will find Ashley Cole. Not quite how he intended. And Gary Neville concedes the corner.
There you go, it was a good little flowing move. Jeffers knocked it across square. Perez, with his touch, just took him a bit wide, and he tried the back heel, hit his other standing leg, and that meant Ashley Cole then got blocked down by Neville.
Well, Martin Keown has gone onto the goal line. Vieira's very close to him. Sol Campbell to come from a deeper position, just by the penalty spot, in fact. Vieira goes, oh, good punch by Barthez. Back in after his injury at Southampton. And now Ray Parlour. Edu's made a forward run in the centre here. Deflection on the cross. Wes Brown and Ferdinand both covering. Van Nistelrooy. Well, it's ironic that personal battle between Keown and Van Nistelrooy should surface again so quickly, just after it's been dealt with in the football court, so to speak. Here's Vieira. Keane finds Van Nistelrooy. David Beckham central here. Van Nistelrooy, nobody right. Still Beckham. Sol Campbell strong. Wiltord looking for Parlour. Jeffers in the middle. Tackled by Sylvester. Oh, flags up for a free kick to Manchester United, I think.
Some great exchanges in. This certainly Sylvester goes in with Parlour. They get up, and you got to see Roy Keane's coming as the third man. Look at those two battling away, and Roy Keane comes in and says, let me get involved as well and make a challenge. Certainly it is as competitive an opening little spell as I've seen all season.
Well, Ferguson did say, didn't he, that the winners of this will be in pole position to win the FA Cup at Cardiff in May, and they're playing as if they really mean it. Van Nistelrooy, Giggs. Oh, he's laid it to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who's hit the post. I think Seaman actually had the post covered. Good move, though.
Well, they suddenly got 2 against 1, didn't they? Van Nistelrooy got the ball, and Lauren doesn't know whether to go wide. Just a little bit short, which means it just took its time. And then Solskjaer had to drag it a little bit away from Lauren, and that took it then to the near post. I think David Seaman, to be honest, would have been beaten with the power, but it came back off that foot on the post.
Yeah, we'll never know, will we? But anyway, it was the first really smooth attack of the match. I don't think Gary Neville really wanted that from Keane in there, but still he's got it away. And so have Arsenal now with Edu. Scolds back to Beckham, and he's gone down, challenged by Ashley Cole. Of course, there was a red card for Keane in that semi-final replay when Giggs scored his wonder goal. Manchester United, not for the first time, went through with 10 men. Here's Wes Brown. By Solskjaer, who was fouled by Lauren. Play's gone on. It's Sylvester's cross. Solskjaer is down. Here's Parlour. Again, Jeff Winter waited and let the play go. Good decision by the referee, because Solskjaer's back on his feet. Jeffers. Edu. Cole. Perez is central at the moment. This is Wiltord. Passing exercise by Arsenal for the moment, until Ashley Cole starts to move forward, looking for Jeffers. Lauren from Ferdinand.
Well, it was Ferdinand trying to bring the ball out then, just overhit it, gave possession to Laurent, who did well, took it past him, come in and made himself the shooting angle, but just on his weaker side, just scuffed it a bit and didn't get the venom that was needed to beat Barthez.
That was a decent flick by Giggs. Can Beckham keep it in? No. Well, Ferdinand will be wanting to put behind him the memory of that second goal by Australia, but in fairness to one or two of the players who played in the first half, it's now pretty much accepted that a lot of them wanted to go back out for the second period, and Coach Eriksson decided to stick to his promise and only play them for 45 minutes. They'll have to play for 90 today, unless we get a red card or an injury, of course. Neville will take the throw for Manchester United. If you hear a song booming out around the ground, it's the new Manchester United version of Take Me Home Country Road, which, if I'm not mistaken, is offside. It was originally recorded by John Denver, among others, but it's now called Take Me Home United Road. And they've been lustily giving voice to that for the last few weeks, I've noticed. Solskjaer to Giggs. Foul by Vieira, was it? No. Jeff Winter shook his head. Arsenal come forward with Tarla. Edu, Vieira. Scolds in the way. Perez. Oh, and Edu through the centre and upended. Free kick this time. Wes Brown. But Solskjaer is up to the referee straight away to ask why he wasn't given one just a moment or two ago.
I thought that was a good decision, and there you just see Jefferson backheeled it there, and certainly Edu got there just before Brown and then was brought down. I think Jeff Winter got both exactly right.
I must say, I think Jeff Winter's made a good start here in a game that's not going to be easy to handle. Edu has put the ball down. Perez is there as well. I think the Brazilian might be... Well, we'll see. Perez is also in a shooting position. And it was Edu, and it came off Paul Scolds, actually, and landed on the roof of the net for a corner.
That was the only way he was going to threaten the goal, because it wasn't particularly well hit. You see a little flick out of the leg there, and that loops it up, which could have made it difficult, and Barthez just watched it go over.
Don't think Edu was ever going to do a Ronaldinho there, do you? Anyway, it's a corner to Arsenal, and again, they've got a line of three. Keown to flick on, Vieira on the line, Jeffers behind him. But the first head was David Beckham's, and actually I think it was the second as well. It's a corner.
I'm surprised Barthez come all the way out there to try and get over David Beckham, because it was right on the end of the 6-yard box. It's not particularly dangerous because Beckham had cut out the first header.
Well, let's see what happens next time. Perez is curling these corners in. Beckham is standing in front of Keown. Sol Campbell tried to get a touch, but Barthez did. It's a corner again on this side now, the third in a row for Arsenal. And they get the flick on this time, but corner number 4, it come for Manchester United head.
Yeah, David Beckham again. He covers the near post that time. Again, just skimmed off the top of his head and cleared everyone.
They don't mind who flicks it on as long as it gives them a second header. Campbell's in there this time, close. And it's just nice and easy for Barthez. Rolls it out very intelligently. And Scolds finding Van Nistelrooy. Now Solskjaer's sprinting up to his left. 3 the other way already, including Giggs. Van Nistelrooy missed it. And it didn't run on for Beckham. Wiltord. Jeffers, good challenge, Wes Brown. Forward by Keane, Van Nistelrooy trying to turn. Martin Keown foul.
Good break before that as well. Really all coming from the throw out from Barthez. It just shows you how can switch from defence to attack.
Now then,
do you think he's going to chance it?
Well, you sat here with me in this very position when he scored against Greece at that end. How can we ever forget that? Not quite the same part of the pitch, but not so far away. David Seaman will know all about this.
He's got to give it a go, I think.
Got to give it a go. Beckham. Oh, there was a touch on there, and Seaman punching almost underneath the bar. I think it was Sylvester who got up first. Well, 20 minutes gone at Old Trafford. If you've joined us late, you can see there's no score, but there's been a rumbustious start. 3 bookings in 7 minutes. Scolds, Van Nistelrooy and Vieira have all been shown the yellow card. And that crossfield pass by Vieira finds Perez, who's been playing much more in the centre than you might expect. And he's found Wiltord. And Jeffers has made a run to the far side. And Wiltord gets the cross in, and Manchester United defending again with a little bit of desperation.
Just a bit of the quality of some of the attacking play beginning to come through now. The attack from Solskjaer just now that was cleared. Nistelrooy had a chance, and then a great break by Perez and Wiltord just at the other end.
There's a flag up for a foul by Sylvester on Tarla. So Manchester United are going to have to pull everybody back again. It's almost like it's obviously a bit further in from the corner flag, but Edu looking for a position in the middle with Campbell. Keown's there as well. But again, the delivery doesn't really favour the players in the centre until Edu regains possession. This is Perez. And now it's Wiltord. And now it's Perez again. Oh, the back heel was meant for Parla. Didn't go there. It went to Roy Keane. Van Nistelrooy trying to flick it on. Edu for Arsenal. Taking shape now, this cup tie. Forward by Campbell to Vieira. Foul by Brown.
And the lads in the studio were saying beforehand there's not much to choose between these teams normally, and it is absolutely even Steven at the moment. After a really frantic opening, they're both now probing away. They had a couple of half openings, couple of free kicks like this. Still nobody quite conjuring up that clear-cut opening.
Perez and Wiltord round the ball. Edu to their right. Is he going to just loft this up for Wiltord to volley?
Looks like it.
Well, they're saying Scolds has advanced out the wall. He's rolled it to Wiltord. Oh, came through a crowd of players. Ashley Cole fell in front of the ball almost there as it whizzed past him, and Barthez had to keep his eye on it.
Seemed to go through the wall, didn't it? That's why he had to use his feet. He definitely saw it late.
Here's Perez. Yes, he did. But he's that kind of goalkeeper, isn't he? He can manufacture a save. Here's Parla. Oh, play on again. Good advantage by the referee. Keane. Beckham. Well, halfway through the first half, and as Trevor said, you wouldn't want to separate them up to now. Cole. Is Perez playing a bit further in to give Cole the freedom of that left-hand side, Trevor?
Well, he likes to drift in and sort of sometimes come in as the playmaker. You can see him now just in front of the front two, look in the centre circle. That, you know, that is the way they play, and Parla will give them the width on this right-hand side.
This is Jeffers with Brown. And the England defender against the England forward. Now then, Lauren. Well, in fact, Sylvain Wiltord had taken up the left side position here. Cole. Still Wiltord. This pitch has been relayed on numerous occasions, including just recently again, Trevor, but it looks like a good playing surface.
Oh, the pitch is excellent now. As I say, I don't know how long it lasts on each occasion, but certainly for this game, I had a look at it earlier, it was absolutely perfect. So nothing wrong with the pitch, and the game has settled down after that opening 10 minutes. And some good quality football, some strong defending, probing away. Arsene Wenger, I'm sure, was pleased at that, because you saw him after about 10 minutes just say to his players, look, let's call this.
Well, somebody had to. That's Neville to Beckham. In towards Van Nistelrooy. Campbell is the defender. Solskjaer, miscue. Poor defending by Campbell, and not a very good strike by Ole Gunnar.
Well, he was backpedaling, Sol Campbell. He thought, well, what's behind me? I've got to get some sort of touch, and it just fell kindly for Solskjaer. Lauren was falling backwards. Solskjaer possibly could have had a touch and then the shot. He tried to hit it first time and sliced it badly.
Well, two opportunities have come Solskjaer's way so far. Here's Keane, and this is Scolds. Plenty forward here for Manchester United. Still Paul Scolds. On that occasion, very good defending by Campbell.
Now, against 4 here.
Yeah, it is. They've got an outnumbered position here, Arsenal. If they play it right, this is Vieira. He's got Lauren. 3 the other way. That's Lauren's cross. Wiltord up, but... Oh. And some more good defending. Rio Ferdinand. Beckham. Oh, Solskjaer. Now there's a break on the other end. No offside. This is Van Nistelrooy. The flag stayed down. And Martin Keown makes the first challenge. Sol Campbell makes the second. And Van Nistelrooy is crowded out.
Well, he did well at this stage. He just took it too far. That was a vital little toe ender by Martin Keown, who then used his experience to fall backwards and make it difficult for him to get to the ball. And Campbell, excellent covering.
Keane back to Beckham. Oh, it's overhit by the England captain.
Nistelrooy got a lot of space because Martin Keown pushed up to try and play the offside. I wasn't sure when the ball was played whether he had just drifted offside, but he got the wave to play on and then just didn't quite capitalise on it. As you can see, just knocked it a little bit too far, and Keown did well. Look at that hand come out just to try and make it difficult for Van Nistelrooy.
Well, it was Martin Keown whose arm was up looking for an offside originally, didn't get it, and it was his arm that was up there just nudging Van Nistelrooy as the second challenge came in from Campbell. It's quite gripping, but it needs a goal. 27 minutes gone. Ferdinand. This is Giggs away from Edu, but not away from Cole. Giggs, Van Nistelrooy. Now then, Beckham wants it. Solskjaer's in the centre here, but comfortable for David Seaman. Keane. Beckham's little ball into Neville. And Beckham again. And Neville again. Now Sylvester. Oh, Jeffers saw that and robbed Keane. Oh, and Keane brings down Perez. And that surely is going to be a yellow card, number 4.
Bit unlucky, Roy Keane, because he got caught out with the ball played back to him. Well, he didn't get a shout, and he turned into Jeffers, lost possession, and then because they break so quickly, had to, he felt, make that challenge. And just to bring Perez down there was an automatic yellow card.
Jeffers was smart there, got back to make a challenge, didn't see him coming. And now Jeffers in attack. Solskjaer. It's Wiltord, 180 degrees. Tarla, Ghin in the way. And Nistelrooy, nobody up with him much at the moment. Beckham was back in his own half. This is Scolds. Now there's a runner on this side. It's Solskjaer. Giggs in the centre with Van Nistelrooy. Others joining. But I think Solskjaer's overrun that. Oh, poor pass by Ghin. And then Beckham ran into Tarla. And then it was Vieira and Ghin giving it everything. And Perez now for Arsenal. They've got a real chance on the left-hand side because Manchester United is still funneling back. This is Ashley Cole. Perez, the player nearer to the ball, but Ghin very wisely allowed it to fall into harmless territory. Good play. Through ball by Beckham. Or Keown struggling. Ryan Giggs. Giggs for Manchester United. The goal is gaping and Giggs has missed. Well, that literally was an open goal. That has to be one of the most glaring misses of Ryan Giggs' career. How did he put that over the bar? A horrendous error by Martin Keown. Seaman all over the place. Go on, just slide it in the net.
That is unbelievable. Once he's clear like this, you wonder, is Seaman going to bring him down? No, Cam. He's just got to dribble it towards the goal. I know it's his weaker foot, but that is absolutely astounding. I mean, when you think of the golden goal that we've seen before this match, and suddenly to miss that one, I mean, that's Ferguson. I don't think he can even believe it.
Don't think I've seen one quite like that since Ronnie Rosenthal put one over the bar at Villa Park a few years ago. That was the one I remember anyway. There've probably been others, but not from Ryan Giggs very often, I shouldn't think.
The only thing you can say, he did make it himself. He went past Seaman, he went past Campbell. You just was looking at it to dribble into the empty net. There was no one who could have possibly got near it if he'd have knocked it and dribbled it towards goal. Or even just rolled it in along the ground. No one would have stopped it. This is Perez. Well, this cup's I'll be remembered for that, if nothing else. Here's Vieira. Oh, it's Ashley Cole. There are two waiting in the centre now for Arsenal. Can he pick them out? Well, he could pick out Tarla on this side. He's found Vieira. That shot's hit Ghin. Edu. Good skill. Ghin rattling him. Tarla. And Vieira this time finds Jeffers. Tarla's cross. Oh, Wiltord up with the goalkeeper. David Beckham didn't see Edu coming, but he got the ball away. Oh, he hasn't. Vieira. Oh, free kick Arsenal. Well, Roy Keane and Gary Neville both protested to Jeff Winter, but the free kick was given. It is still on the knife edge, isn't it? It is liable to boil over at any moment. Vieira did very well to win possession on a couple of occasions. Roy Keane just said he went down too easily, but probably just caught the back of his leg. This is the one. Look, he gets up, he's won two tackles, then shields it, and he does take away his standing leg. And you know, whatever Manchester United say, I think that's a good decision again.
I think it's a foul by Keane, unmistakably. I also think Vieira is injured and not just prolonging this. Well, what happened here to Ryan Giggs? Trevor, have you ever missed one like this yourself?
Of course not. No one probably would remember if I did anyway, but I wouldn't have been quick enough to get to this one. Martin Keown must be relieved. Then David Seaman, because he could have been a red card if he'd have caught him. And now, I mean, I'm not sure who it was it Beckham running outside him? But I mean, having done to that, all he's got to do is dribble it towards goal. And amazing. He's going to haunt him, isn't it, that one for a while?
Well, I don't know why he had to lift it. Anyway, there we go.
He didn't have to.
No, OK, thank you. We got a free kick. Sir Alex Ferguson not pleased in any way whatsoever about that, but his team have got to come all the way back and defend. Edu's closer this time for a crack at goal. Perez is also standing in a threatening position.
might favour Perez as it's a bit closer. Edu's a bit more powerful with his shooting, but Perez is more of a curler. I think he might take seniority here, who knows?
Right. And it was Edu. Oh, it's been deflected, and it's in! Arsenal are in front from a deflected free kick by Edu.
Well, unbelievable. I mean, it wasn't the best of free kicks, to be frank. He didn't hit it that hard. Look at it, just takes a really strong, off Scolds, I think it was, got his head to it, and I mean, once it hits Scold, let's have a look. No, is it? No, it's almost the Beck. It's just on the shoulder of Beckham there. Let's have a look in the middle there. I think it could be Beckham, you know. Anyway, it's totally wrong-footed.
Well,
poor old Barthez, no chance.
Well, Edu, the Brazilian, will certainly do his best to claim it, and Arsenal have taken the lead within minutes of that shocking miss by Ryan Giggs. How costly could that now prove? They contested the award of the free kick anyway. Manchester United, and Edu's goal after 35 minutes is his third of the season.
I'm not sure you can give him that. I don't think there was any way that was going to go into goal. It was just the massive deflection that totally wrong-footed Barthez.
This is Van Nistelrooy. I agree with you. I think it was Beckham's shoulder it came off. I don't know whether you can call it Beckham own goal, although the way the goals are allocated these days, it may well finish up that way.
I think you'd have to.
Okay, all right, well, fair enough. It's 1-0 to Arsenal, a score by which they won here to clinch the league title last season. They're in front again at Old Trafford, and now Manchester United have work to do. It's Keane who gave away the free kick. Well, no Henry, not at the moment, no Bergkamp, no Gilberto Silva, but Arsenal have the advantage in this fifth-round cup tie. No chance for Barthez. Once it was deflected, as you say, it took it in the other side of the goal. Now Sylvester's forward here, near post. Sol Campbell jumping with him. It's Beckham trying to make amends. Solskjaer to Scolds, didn't get hold of it at all. Do they deserve to be in front?
I don't think either side's done enough. This is a goal, as you see, they get up. I mean, they all jump in unison. They know it's going to try and go over the top, so they all jump up to try and get the block, and you know, it's a terrible look at poor old Barthez, his footing goes and totally stranded.
So the FA Cup holders lead by 1-0. Arsenal, who won the trophy for the 8th time when they beat Chelsea in Cardiff, having been there the year before and thought they'd won the cup, and then had their pockets picked by Liverpool and Michael Owen. So will they be there for the 3rd year running? This is Perez. And now Vieira with Cole on the far side. Vieira. Just think Vieira and Perez at the moment are holding sway in that central midfield area. Keane and Scolds can't quite get to them. Ferdinand cutting off Jeffers, not that successfully, and Brown is put in a little bit of a corner there.
Look at Arsenal working so hard to close them down, putting the back four under pressure, making it very tough for Manchester United to play their way out as normal, but they've done it.
Yeah, that's what's making it so absorbing, actually. But there's also, in the middle of it all, some fairly routine mistakes being made in the passing. This is Keane. That wasn't one. Oh, wait, perhaps it was. Perez. Beckham was stretching for it. Yeah, they're really making Manchester United work at the moment, Arsenal. Extraordinary, isn't it, that Giggs, who scored that unbelievable goal against Arsenal in the semi-final replay 4 years ago, when he beat everybody on the pitch practically, should miss a chance like that today. How perverse football can be. Scolds plays it forward. Vieira.
Done well the last 10 or 15 minutes. That man really has made some good telling tackles, spread the play well. Paul Scolds, who you just mentioned just now, has been pretty poor with his passing. I remember he had a bit of a knock, whether it was a groin during the midweek with England, he was doubtful, and whether he's still feeling that, I don't know, but he's not being as influential as normal.
This is Scolds to Beckham. Keane. There's Neville's pass, Vieira stretching to intercept Lauren. David Seaman still very comfortable in those situations. So Arsenal achieved what they failed to do here in December and score. Amazing record, isn't it, really? 69 domestic games now, and only once have they not registered. Tarla. Beckham picked up a good position there, and he also picked out Neville. Four in the middle. There was a deflection on the cross, which slightly changed the trajectory. Arsenal cope with it, as they're coping with everything just at the moment. Here's Vieira. Only 3 minutes left in the half. It's been an incessant sort of cup tie with very few breaks in between. This is Jeffers. And I think it's looking very much as though Arsenal are going to almost stroll through to half-time here.
The man who knocked it back then has been very influential as well at the back, Campbell. I think he's played excellently, very strong and powerful, and anticipated any danger well.
Well, I wonder what he'll be saying in the dressing room. It's the bit we never hear. So I'm quite pleased there are a few things we don't hear.
Lunchtime, it'll probably be Bleep. I mean, it's a freakish goal, let's be frank. The free kick was desperately unlucky. And, of course, the Giggs chance. So the 1-0 scoreline could have been reversed, and it's just as tight as we expected it to be.
Francis Jeffers has been pulled up for a foul on Brown. Now then, is there a riposte here from Manchester United in the closing stages of the first half? They've got the throw, but there's going to be 3 minutes of added time, so the fourth official, Neil Barry, will inform us, and time aplenty then for Manchester United to get back into it. Brown, Tarla and Sylvester. Incidentally, neither side here really wants a replay. It would have to be postponed until the 5th of March if there was one, because of the 2 weeks of Champions League football coming up. And that would only be a few days before the 6th round, after which there's more Champions League. Brown seemed to change his mind there. He's found Neville in the end. And of course the Worthington Cup final for Manchester United in a couple of weeks' time against Liverpool. Here's Keane to Beckham. Neville running on. Ryan Giggs had gone to the right and he lost possession. Free kick. Edu bundled over.
There's the 3 minutes. I just wonder whether, just for a little spell in the second half, they might swap Solskjaer and Giggs. Giggs' pace did take him beyond the back four for the goal, but I just think Giggs running at Lauren down this side and sort of Solskjaer and Nistelrooy in the middle, just for 15-20 minutes, might be worth having a look at.
Yeah, see him perhaps back in his more familiar position. Here is Lauren. And Brown has got Tarla breathing down his neck. Good fortune on the kick, really. Scolds. Now then, space down the right for Gary Neville. 4 others up with him for Manchester United. Tarla, decent ball. Perez, Wiltord free to his left. Ferdinand in front of him now. Still Wiltord, nobody there to help him, nobody whatsoever. Well, where is Ashley Cole?
There he is. They were just letting them get on with it. They thought Perez and Wiltord were going to create an opening, and so nobody had started to join, and then they got exposed once the opportunity died away.
They were in splendid isolation there, the 2 Arsenal forwards. Here's Parler. Well, I guess apart from the flurry of bookings at the start, the 2 major incidents to debate in this first half, well, there's no suppose about it. The Giggs miss and the Edu deflected goal. Neville. Beckham. Jeffers. Sylvester came in behind him. Well, I agree with Jeffers. I thought he should have had a free kick there. It's not been given. Beckham's brought the ball away to Keane. And it's Beckham again. Van Nistelrooy. And now Giggs and Cole. It's an Arsenal ball.
And it's got to be an Arsenal lead, I think, at half-time, isn't it? I just think there isn't much to choose between. The 1 or 2 of the better players, Perez, Vieira, Campbell, probably just in that Arsenal side. If you look at people like Van Nistelrooy and Beckham, Keane, they haven't quite imposed themselves in the same ilk.
Well, Edu's free kick, deflected off the Manchester United wall, perhaps by Beckham, gives Arsenal a half-time lead, but the most forlorn figure coming off the pitch has to be Ryan Giggs for that quite out of character when he missed with the goal gaping, and that's really the reason that Arsene Wenger walks off at half-time, the more cheerful manager in this live 5th round cup tie. It's Manchester United 0, the holders Arsenal 1. Well, yes, if we wanted to let off steam, we look at each other here, but there was plenty of steam coming off the pitch in the first 7 minutes, Trevor, and then I have to say it did calm down a bit after that.
Well, it was, I think, absorbing without being, as the lads said, the quality football. Certainly Arsenal broke well. I think Jeffers and Wiltord have been a pretty good outlet. Perez tucks inside, and sort of Edu has been sitting. Vieira's got some good tackles in. If you look at the Manchester United side, you know, who's sort of had an impact on the game from an attacking point of view, that you can't pick many out of their sort of attacking six. Sylvester hasn't got forward as he usually does with Tarla out that side, and so Scolds has been quite deep with Keane. He hasn't sort of got beyond the front two. Looks as if Giggs is still going to start off alongside sort of Nistelrooy through the middle. So whether they do swap him and Solskjaer, the only option he's got on the bench really is Forlan as an attacking option, or Butt to come on and push somebody further forward.
Just a postscript to that discussion about Sir Bobby Robson. Of course, it's 25 years this year since the FA Cup was won by Ipswich Town under his management at Wembley, and I know from my own experiences of talking to him over many years that period in his life, 13 years at Ipswich Town, 9 of them in Europe in 10 seasons, figures very highly in what made him the manager, and in some ways the man that is so, as you said, admired today. Now then, who are we going to admire in the second half here? Arsenal now playing from the right, a goal to the good, and Manchester United with Beckham on the ball for a moment. And if the second half starts like the first, watch out for the fireworks. Jeffers. This is Sylvester. Van Nistelrooy won't reach that. Martin Keown with a keen eye on him. Roy Keane. Neville. And again it's those two. And again Keown comes across his offside flag up there anyway.
A bit late, wasn't it? Martin Keown then had to point to it. It's difficult a little bit sometimes for the defenders. When the ball's played in, you can see he is just on that right of the picture. When you've got that shadow of the stand, just when the ball's coming out into the sunlight, I see one or two of the Manchester United defenders, and Barthez in the first half got caught by that. Let's see if Seaman and his defence can cope okay.
Jeffers, Lauren to Vieira. Perez now is holding the wide position. Comes inside Beckham. Arsenal certainly haven't hurried their passing. They've been quite happy at times to stroke it around. This is Lauren. But not like that. Giggs to Solskjaer, Van Nistelrooy. That was a loose bit of play by the champions, and Solskjaer has been knocked over on the far side of the field, and we've got another collision on the near side. So there were two. Van Nistelrooy was the second man to go down under challenge from Edu.
What Winter didn't see either was Solskjaer had got the wrong side of Lauren, tugged back by the shirt, and that's why he tumbled over to make sure he didn't get clear, but no one would have picked that one up.
That would have been a card for Lauren if it had been seen. Free kicks taken by Beckham. Sylvester comes up far side. Now Rio Ferdinand. Beckham to Scolds. Giggs. Oh no. Jeffers able to intercept. Tarla. Giggs trying to make up for that now. They've got 3 round Tarla. But he's got away from them. Well, the ball did. Oh, there's no flag this time. Keane. Good tackle, Solskjaer. David Beckham's header. Scolds to Giggs. Solskjaer. It's a wicked slice by Campbell. It's given Manchester United a corner. Beckham will take it. Ferdinand will come forward. Perhaps he's got his arm up, Rio Ferdinand. Sylvester goes into the penalty area as well. But it's an easy one for Edu. Neville looking for the captain here, Keane. Cole's clearance doesn't really do the job. Scolds gets it back. Neville. That was Tarla and Beckham on the far side. Can't really see Beckham getting anything out of Jeff Winter there, could you?
Been a brave penalty decision. I mean, Dave Beckham stops running to try and get the header, and then really Tarla just continues, and although he knocks him over, there was nothing really on that at all. Although, yeah, Manchester United, not surprisingly, getting a good early bit of spell of pressure without creating anything, though.
Well, you can probably hear the song now. Will it inspire Manchester United? Therein lies the question. Where's Brown? Oh, they've lost it. Now, if Edu... Oh, he didn't win it because Ferdinand made a good block. Tarla. And again, Jeffers ahead of him. Vieira makes a strong forward run as well. Jeffers waits in the centre. Not always orthodox, is he? Free kick to Manchester United. Scolds was knocked off the ball. Now then, can they up the tempo, United, and pull this goal back? Not like that. Vieira, Arsenal quite happy at times to slow it all down. Edu, two up with him, Wiltord, good chance for Arsenal, there's Sugden and Wiltord, and Arsenal go 2-0 up, and Wiltord, whose goal here ensured Arsenal won the Cup and League double last season, is on the mark at Old Trafford again. And they made it look very simple. Edu, twinkle toes really, slid the ball through, he skipped the challenge, Wiltord, and steered it the other side of Barthez.
Well done, Edu there. Just rolls the ball up. Rio Ferdinand caught as Wiltord runs behind him. Wes Brown then has to come and commit himself. Doesn't want to give the penalty away. Then he just sets himself. He could go either way, and he just strokes it wide of Barthez. Barthez, no chance at all. Delightful little movement by Arsenal. The first real attack after 6 or 7 minutes of defending in the second half, and what a wonderful cushion that is for them now.
52 minutes gone in the 5th round. Manchester United 0, Arsenal 2. Wiltord's got a good scoring record in the FA Cup as well. And here's Perez. Well, yes, what a cushion. It'll need a comeback, a little bit like the 1979 Cup final that we showed a glimpse of, to change this. Here's Wiltord again. And they're standing off him again, and it just caught Rio Ferdinand, did it?
Well, it did, but it's not been given.
Well, what's gone on there, Trevor? That's a corner, isn't it?
He clipped his heel, there's no question of that. Look, this is the goal, great little run, and the two central defenders, Ferdinand and Wes Brown, just got caught out by his movement. Edu did excellent because he got the ball initially, knocked it to Perez, got it back again, and remember that Gilberto Silva with Brazil has been rested today because he had a long journey to China, and Edu's come in and done great alongside Vieira in midfield.
Yeah, well, not just Gilberto missing, Bergkamp, who hasn't travelled, Henry, who hasn't been used yet, and Arsenal still find themselves 2 up.
Well, we made a lot of the two strikers, Bergkamp and certainly Henry, but Edu's slotted in really well. His natural left footer, so he's given them good shape, and they do keep the ball as they are here now, making Manchester United work really hard to try and get it back.
Oh, look at this now, Vieira, and it was Parla that supplied the pass. And let's also say there's been some good movement from Jeffers, and Wiltord doesn't seem to mind whether he plays wide or whether he plays up the middle. He's had an impact here.
Well, what do? Yeah, they've got to be a little change, I think, and they've had a talk. And shall we go now? And he's coming down to tell somebody to get warmed up. Something had to happen because they're on their heels at the moment.
Carlos Queiroz, the Portuguese coach, has just come down, as you say, to institute some kind of change. It may be Forlan, but there is surgery needed here by Manchester United. And
I think you could get Butt in as well, because they're winning the midfield at the moment, Arsenal, and I think Scolds is playing too deep at present. Delightful little touch, skipped around it, and he just strokes it in. You don't have to break the net.
No, absolutely not. That's what we were saying earlier with Giggs. Anyway, yeah, you could change it round that way, and I agree. I think that's where Arsenal have really got hold of the game. Vieira and Edu have had the better of Keane and Scolds. Kick from Barthez didn't really do Sylvester any favours, but anyway, here's Brown. I suppose I ought to just clarify for our younger viewers that in that 1979 Cup final, Arsenal had what looked like an unassailable 2-0 lead with 5 minutes to go. Manchester United then scored twice to make it 2-2, and then Arsenal went up the other end and got the winning goal with Alan Sunderland.
And Manchester United still got 35 minutes today, but at the moment they've just lost their way and they're giving the ball away. And it's Arsenal who are looking actually to try and get a third.
Wiltord's down injured, but Tarla plays on, and here comes Jeffers. Wiltord's picked himself up around the halfway line. This is Beckham. Well, a goal now from Manchester United would really give us a cup tie. Well, Cole was getting himself in a bit of a tangle there, if truth be told. And this is Beckham. Keane, good ball, Solskjaer. Van Nistelrooy lurking at the far post. Arsenal surround Solskjaer, hunting in packs.
Well, that was a great thing. They had one-on-one, Solskjaer against Vieira, and suddenly they had 3 against 1 and helped him out. Terrific defending.
Yeah, the grouping around the ball by Arsenal's defenders has noticeably been better than that by the Manchester United back players, who've been a little exposed at times, as on the second goal. But there's a lot in this match yet. Over half an hour to go. And there's no question that history tells us there could be more than one twist in it. Still to come. Scolds. Sylvester. Van Nistelrooy up against Kieran. 3 Manchester United players to his right, and he's picked out Giggs. And Scolds is backing him up, and he goes down. Jeff Winter says no. So I've got to give the man with the Dubai tan a few marks here. I only disagreed with about one decision he's made.
Probably he tried to bundle his way through Paul Scolds. He did get his standing foot clipped, but at the moment he's tried to let the game flow, and when you think of the opening 7 or 8 minutes, I think he's done a pretty good job.
Jeffers to Vieira. Here's another man who's done a very good job, Edu. Perez. Cole. Here's Arsenal's name, going to be the first one through to the 6th round of the Cup. David Beckham definitely tugged back this time by Edu. Even though the Brazilian doesn't agree. Free kick it is, and Rio Ferdinand makes his way forward into the penalty area. Beckham to take. Sylvester's there as well, and so is Wes Brown. Well, it went through everybody. Goal kick.
They're all in a cluster, weren't they? And Solskjaer was the first of the cluster. He just flicked it on, and then it cleared everyone. And I think the chewing gum at the moment will be working furiously because it can't be happy, as at the moment Arsenal getting the better possession and his side definitely rocked by the second goal, and at the moment just can't seem to get the right shape and the fluidness normally in their play.
Well, the cup holders are not going to have their grip on the trophy loosened easily, there's no question about that. And they're in a commanding position, Arsenal, at the moment here. Of course, Giggs and Scolds both were considered doubtful yesterday for this match. I wonder if that will affect the substitutions to come. This is Solskjaer. Beckham shakes off two. Oh, gets past the third one, but Cole will recover. Two England players there. Neville's looking for Keane. There's the flick on. There's Van Nistelrooy. Big shout. First for hands, then for a foul. Neither given. Play goes on. Beckham. Solskjaer shoved a bit. Giggs coming in. Oh, no. Well, he drove that into the ground and it went right across the 6-yard box.
That's a great chance, John. Oh, dear, that cleared everyone. Look, there's nobody going to challenge him. Right, it's coming out the sun, but it's on his left foot. Just completely mistimes it, hits it into the ground and it bobbles across the face of the goal.
Then Van Nistelrooy turned there. I don't think that was a foul. I think he just, well, he virtually fell over as he had the shot. Now there's an injury. Martin Keown is down, so there'll be a delay now.
Tactical lull, I would call this. An experienced man sitting down. We're under a bit of pressure. We're 2-0 up. Let's have a couple of minutes break.
Well, it still isn't really going for United, Trevor, is it?
Well, I mean, they need to try and hit back. Arsene Wenger must be delighted with that second goal, but that was a good chance for Ryan Giggs. It's just beautifully clipped over the back post, you know, just hanging there on his left foot. He mistimed it badly. He wasn't close to going in, to hit it into the ground as badly as he did, and it bobbled across the face of the goal. And I suppose you could have had a bit of luck and it ended up going into the stride of somebody, but he's suffering at the moment.
Well, the timeout that you called has now just about elapsed. Now, Martin Keown is the player off the pitch because he has to come back on formally, having been treated by the physio Gary Lewin. Just cannot understand the wisdom of this law sometimes. It seems to slow the game down more than speed it up, which is what it was designed to do. Now, if Manchester United get the ball back, Keown's in no position to defend. As it's turned out, there's going to be a free kick for the foul on Perez. Now again, there's a lot of pushing and shoving. Gary Neville got involved there. Jeff Winters right in the thick of it, right at the heart of it.
Yeah, I mean, it was a bit of a challenge, but I mean, Perez went down, swiveling to the floor, and he did, you know, make a huge meal of that one. I think a three-course one.
Well, I think that's what the United players are saying, and this is what's annoyed Gary Neville. Martin Keown still, well, he was the player off the pitch, actually, trying to get back on. Anyway, it's all going to finish up with Arsenal having a free kick. There's quite a lot of activity down there among the subs, but as yet, nobody's been called to the touchline. With, what, 63 minutes gone? And now it's Beckham and the referee having a little tete-a-tete.
Well, we saw the caption then, once a foul every 3 minutes, it does disrupt the play, but I think from Manchester United's point of view, they must, you know, get too tetchy and appealing for everything. They've just got to focus on getting their passing game together and improve it.
I would imagine Forlan's going to be the shout when it happens, but here's Ashley Cole, meantime, on one of those spirited runs down the left-hand side. David Beckham goes all the way. Three more fifth round ties this afternoon. You can see those tonight. Match of the day highlights. 4 games tomorrow in this round of the competition. And at the moment, it doesn't look as though Manchester United are going to be in the next round, unless they can call upon their fabled powers of recovery.
They're quite capable of scoring a couple of goals quickly, but at the moment, they just haven't got any understanding or flow to their game, so it won't come shortly unless that improves.
Vieira's having a tremendous match. Look at him now. Could have gone down, but chose to keep his feet and indeed keep possession for Arsenal. This is Tarla. Jeffers coming to the near post. Now Keane to Giggs. He's fouled by Tarla. Free kick to Manchester United. I was about to say that I think in the battle of the captains, if you want to call it that, in the middle of the field, Vieira's had the edge over Keane so far, but that may be a dangerous thing to say. Here's Perez. Wiltord, he's certainly played well, but he's got dispossessed there, and this is Beckham. And again, Scolds to his left, but a better ball possibly. Yes, he's found Sylvester. And that cross cut out by Campbell, only as far as Solskjaer though. Here's Neville. Oh dear me.
Well, Neville's turning round and said, I want it into space. Solskjaer heard the shout of the overlap, but he knocked it sort of square, and so he knocked it outside him, and then he couldn't hook it round. And again, frustration and a bit of derision from the Arsenal fans are behind that goal that Manchester United are attacking.
Yeah, 9,000 have come up from London, as indeed they did for West Ham in the last round.
What are you chuckling at?
Well, I just thought a slightly different outcome, possibly.
All right, thanks. Yes, let's get back to today.
Goal difference is 8. Anyway, we will get back indeed to today. Halfway through the second half here at Old Trafford. The holders of the FA Cup, 2-0 up against the Worthington Cup finalists. Both teams still attacking on many fronts this season. That's a throw-in. And they've yet to meet again in the league at Highbury in April, the game that many people think might decide the destiny of the Barclaycard Premiership. Sylvester. Van Nistelrooy didn't control that, and Parla comes away in his usual workmanlike fashion for Arsenal. You always know what you're getting with Ray Parla. This is Jeffers. And it's Parla again. Edu is in support. He finds Vieira, and it moves on to Perez. Cole. Beckham comes on to cover again. I really do feel Arsenal at times have dictated both the tempo and the shape of the game. Here's Cole. Perez. 2 good runners from midfield. One of them here is Vieira, the other is Parla, but Paul Scholes got a foot in.
Tell you what, he was in there, Ray Parla. It was beautiful controlled build-up. Suddenly, they've made 2 runs from midfield. Parla through the middle, Vieira to the right. Perez threaded it to Vieira, and then he just miscued the ball through to Parla, and they were open up again, Manchester United, and again it's the quality of Arsenal's passing in comparison to Manchester United. That's a different.
He is a colossus, Vieira, when he plays like this, isn't he? Solskjaer. Scolds. Rio Ferdinand. Jeffers makes the challenge. Oh, well, it will be a free kick. Arsenal thought they dispossessed him fairly, but Manchester United now have a chance to set something up at the other end. Ferdinand continues his run forward onto the edge of the penalty area. Beckham will take this short and square to Brown. Now Scolds. Sylvester his left. And a line of 5 ahead of him. Giggs. Sylvester again. Made that look quite easy. Ferdinand is coming in. Edu there first. This is Keown. Giggs again. Sylvester again. Header out was by Cole. Back in by Neville. This is Scolds. Little ball into Van Nistelrooy. This is where he's dangerous. Keane. Scolds is coming in. Oh, and so too was Solskjaer. And how did that one miss? I lost the flight of that ball, Trevor. What happened there?
Well, Solskjaer lost the fly of it as well because Scolds just got in the way. It's a delightful little clip from Ghin. Scolds is going back, and then he hears the shout from Solskjaer, gets out of the way, but Solskjaer's just been distracted enough not to head it on target and knocks it into the side netting. That was another good chance. That one and the Giggs volley, two key openings. If you get one goal, suddenly Arsenal are on the rack. While it stays 2-0, they've got a nice little cushion and they can pass it around as they've been doing.
Must be cursing down on the United bench at the moment. Anyway, Giggs has got a free kick over on that side against Lauren. Crowd growing a little restless as well, demanding a Manchester United revival here. Might have seen one if that had gone in. This is Ferdinand. It's going to be Forlan for Giggs any minute, I feel. Here's Scolds. Scold shoots.
That's about first time he's bundled his way clear of midfield. Always dangerous here. Hits it with the outside of his right foot, always slicing away from goal, and just got closed down then just outside the area, and it got hurried, and there's the substitution you mentioned.
Yeah, Giggs is coming off after what, from his point of view, after a week when he's been under treatment, has not been one of his more sparkling displays. Forlan comes on, having now become, compared to what he used to be, quite a regular goal scorer. He's scored in the Premiership, in Europe, in the Worthington Cup. Now can he open his account in the FA Cup? Manchester United certainly hope he can.
Well, he's gone on to the left-hand side of midfield, and Solskjaer's gone through the middle with Van Nistelrooy. I thought they just might have gone that way for 10 minutes with Giggs out wide on the left, but it hasn't happened, and Forlan now has taken that position on that left-hand side.
Well, the really good news for Manchester United is that Thierry Henry will come on any moment. Oh, Beckham's gone down. No, only the crowd shouting there. Perez. That's a good pass, really well weighted.
He's so... he threads the ball through people, through defenders. He actually, I think, is the one who pulls all the strings. Vieira does the tackling, wins the ball, and Perez threads the ball through to the front men superbly.
Well, the third of the Musketeers is about to join the action as well, so we'll see what happens when Thierry Henry appears. This is Neville for Manchester United. Jeffers, of course, did have a half for England in midweek, but then again, most of them have played international football of some sort for some period of time. This is Forlan, Keane, Scolds, Sylvester, Forlan. Given away, and this is where Arsenal really do kick you in the teeth. If you give the ball away there, they normally counter-attack with some menace. On this occasion, Wiltord was held up a bit by Sylvester. Well, here he comes. 24 goals this season for Arsenal. This is the first time he's appeared in the FA Cup, Thierry Henry. And it looks like Francis Jeffers coming to the touchline, straight swap. Jeffers just applauding the Arsenal supporters as he goes off.
What a bonus. Also had Henry, we're a bit surprised Beckham hadn't travelled. Henry's on the bench. He's had 72 minutes here and he's coming on and he's side a 2-0 up. Goodness me.
An embarrassment of riches, you might say, for Arsene Wenger. Arsenal supporters quite pleased, I think, with the contribution of Jeffers.
Yeah, giving him a little thank you with a song and chanting his name, and he's worked very hard. It's not always the strong part of his game, his work rate and a bit of aggression and closing down, but he's taken the lead from this Arsenal team, and his improved form was shown there in other areas of his game.
Now here's Roy Keane. Across comes Sol Campbell. Wants the ball to run, which it does.
He's been terrific at the back, so strong and powerful. All right, sometimes in possession, his distribution occasionally lets him down, but certainly when you get hit by him, he just bounces off, and he's got a good temperament, doesn't get involved, and I think he's been a key factor at the back today.
Well, Wenger's French forwards had a little conversation there while the ball was being retrieved. Henry and Wiltord doubtless discussing how they're going to link up, which they are doing now in the attack. This is Edu. And again, got it back from Wiltord, Edu, and this is Wiltord again. Henry makes his way into the penalty area. Perez. Wiltord is behind him. And Edu, miscontrol there, gives Manchester United possession with Keane. Only about 15 minutes left, plus stoppage time here for United to rescue this cup tie, and it won't be done quite like that. Diego Forlan never had a chance of catching it. Well, if you're looking at a man of the match, you might be torn between Vieira and Edu, would you, Trevor, in the Arsenal midfield?
Well, the centre midfield have done very, very well. I think Perez is up alongside them as well, because they've worked hard to get possession. Perez then threads the ball through. He's so incisive with his passing, but you know, they've been good performances all the way around. Campbell at the back as well.
Free kick given there against Henry for the use of the arm on Ferdinand. Still, Manchester United not firing on all cylinders. Not being allowed to, it should be said. But here's Scolds to Keane. Forlan. Perez will get cut out here by Keane, but only as far as Henry from the Manchester United skipper. Keane to Beckham. Forlan. Oh no, Van Nistelrooy couldn't take it in stride. Gives Cole the chance to, found Perez, who's now got a bit of donkey work to do in the Arsenal back third. He did it by finding Edu. Wiltord. This is about the best I've seen Edu play since he came over from Brazil for Arsenal. Pat Rice, the coach, out there on the line. Ferdinand. Now David Beckham, in making that challenge, has gone down injured.
Just stretching, hurt the ankle or the Achilles as he fell there, just jarred it a bit as he was stretched.
You see those red tabs, or the tongue on Beckham's boots, Trevor? He has a new pair for every match in which he plays. And his two sons' names are emblazoned on each side, Brooklyn and Romeo. Now then, this is how this match has really swung in Arsenal's favour. Edu took the free kick in the first half. Couple of deflections, one off Beckham's shoulder, carried it wide of Fabien Barthez, and then Edu involved again. Wiltord skipped round Wes Brown and finished really well, and that's where we're at in this match at the moment. And Beckham is still receiving attention. What happens to those boots every time he finishes a game? Well, I gather that some of them go into his loft. They'd be worth a bit. As he hobbles off now, and that doesn't look too good for David Beckham. Manchester United will temporarily be down to 10. This is Giggs. Oh, sorry, it's not. It's Van Nistelrooy. It's a free kick anyway on the edge of the penalty area. Giggs is off, I'm sorry. Van Nistelrooy that was. And just being distracted slightly by the David Beckham injury. It's a Manchester United outside the penalty area. Forlan puts the ball down, and Beckham is walking very gingerly back to the touchline. Probably take the free kick before he can get back on, I would think. And Diego Forlan headed away by Patrick Vieira. Scolds headed away by Keown. Thierry Henry. There's a break on here for Arsenal. If he plays it to the right, they're through. And he did. And it's Wiltord. And it looks like 3-0. Oh, and coming in, crashing behind him. Well, Wes Brown, fair tackle. And Wiltord is still beating the ground in disgust. We'll deal with that in a second. There's all sorts happening here. Beckham is trying to get back on the field. Forlan has the ball for Manchester United, who was split asunder there. But Wiltord, well, he's still walking back. This is Vieira. And now Henry's made a run from left to right. Vieira's got nobody the other side, but hangs on.
Magnificently he kept the ball, didn't he? He knew he was going to give it away if he passed it, and so he just come back out. That was terrific.
It was. Cole. Now here is Beckham. Well, I really thought that was going to be 3-0 and curtains. Perez. Oh, Tarla got the better of Sylvester there. Here's Scolds. Again, Jeff Winter lets the play flow. Henry. Well, again, Arsenal settling down into this phase of possession play, which has really punctuated their performance here today.
Well, in the second half, you've got to say it's been very, very comprehensive. They've been impressive, they've kept the ball well, they've broke, they've got the second goal. All right, the two chances, the Solskjaer header and the Giggs volley in the second half. Other than that, they've always looked the better side.
Decent ball by Scolds out towards Sylvester. He beats the first defender. Seaman's coming a long way here. And rolls it out to Vieira. Thierry Henry. We've got Nicky Butt waiting to come on as a substitute for Manchester United. And it's still Henry. Brought down, was he, by Gary Neville? Neville points and says no, he dived, and Jeff Winter agrees. Forlan. Now there's a change. David Beckham's coming off as a precaution, with Juventus coming up on Wednesday here. He took a knock a few minutes ago, and he's going to be replaced by Nicky Butt, who hasn't actually started a match, Nicky Butt, for Manchester United since he was injured playing for England back in October. Just coming back in gently as a sub in the last 3 or 4 games. Another substitution by Arsenal is going to be imminent. Gianni Van Bronckhorst, who scored the winner for Holland against Argentina on Wednesday night, replaces Robert Perez.
He's been great today. Kept it so well, always one of those who offers him up to receive possession, and no wonder he's getting a pat on the back. He's done his job.
So after those changes, Manchester United resume. This is Neville. Roy Keane's well in there, Van Nistelrooy, but Edu with another sensible first-time pass out to Parla. Sylvester gets the tackle in. So too did, he's injured himself there doing that. Lauren. Beckham off, Forlan, one of the substitutes trying to come in from the far side. Nicky Butt on, And for Arsenal, Van Bronckhorst and Henry are on. As the managers change it around, and there goes Thierry Henry. And here comes Barthez, who was going to bring that all the way to the halfway line for a moment. We might see him forward with 6 minutes to go. Now Van Nistelrooy with Keane. Keown just got the better of him.
Van Bronckhorst is a straight swap on the left-hand side for Perez, and now with Beckham off.
Was there a kick there, Trevor? I just think Scolds is in trouble.
Well, he was pushed up alongside Van Nistelrooy.
But look at this, when Lauren goes down, watch what Scolds does next. Just watch this. He waved his foot, didn't he? I don't think he made any great contact, but Lauren acted as though he did. Now then, Scolds is already on a yellow card. And I suspect Jeff Winter has taken the view that that was just a gesture, not a particularly threatening one.
Well, why is Lauren still on the floor, John? I mean, he did scuff the ball slightly, but there wasn't any contact with the leg. This is the challenge initially. Whether that's the one that he's feeling sore about, the initial challenge. But he looks as if he's going to get up at this stage. He just clips the ball at his leg, and now then he rolls back. It was a stupid thing for Scolds to do with his experience, the fact he's got a yellow card, but it does make a meal of it. That doesn't look a very happy man either.
No, I can't quite see what the second... there was no contact the second. It's the first tackle that he's being treated for by the physio. Now then, Thierry Henry, what a great ball inside Wes Brown, and this is Wiltord, who looks certain to make it 3. Brown actually got his foot round the ball. He got a bit of Wiltord as well. And on a day when they weren't leading 2-0, Arsenal might have been screaming for a penalty there.
Now there was a scuff stud that got the ball there. That was a vital touch. And now he's being helped off the crowd. Not too pleased to see him walking as well. But Wiltord he got away from Brown, and then he just sort of set himself to knock it into the net again and pass it past Barthez. That just enabled Brown to make the challenge.
OK, 4 minutes plus stoppage time. They want to get Lauren back on, Arsenal. It's Henry who's underneath this with Ferdinand. That's how it's been today. The holders very much in control in this 5th round tie at Old Trafford. Now, Scolds has made a forward run. Martin Keown with the header back. Forlan to Van Nistelrooy. Keown there again. There's a shout, only from the crowd, I think. The hands against Keown, and he's been dispatched into the siding in front of the advertising boards somewhat indiscriminately, Keown.
I'm not sure there was too much on this one either. Martin Keown sensibly trying to let it run out. And Nistelrooy trying to wrap his leg round, and as he does so, still that body strength just clips him. But look, then he gets a high jump award there and then rolls down into that gully there. And Martin Keown does give a bit out, so I think he could have taken that a bit better.
There really isn't much love lost between Van Nistelrooy and Keown. That's been obvious in both matches here. Now is some pushing. This time the free kick goes in Gary Neville's favour. Henry backing in. Manchester United a couple of minutes plus stoppage time away from going out of the FA Cup on their own ground. Nicky Butt, the player, fouled there. This is Scolds. And now it's Brown. Touched by Henry, back by Ferdinand. Solskjaer with Cole. Van Nistelrooy goes in for the header. Scolds tries to follow up. Goal kick. They're still at it, those two, Trevor.
It'll be interesting when the play, I think it's hybrid still to come before the end of the season. Jeff Winter's done well, isn't he? He's smiling, and they're actually giving each other verbal through him, I think. But it's Arsenal fans who are really enjoying themselves. Their side have played exceptionally well, particularly the second half. They deserved the win, and they are 2 goals better.
Well, they're really having a good day, the Gunners and their supporters. It would seem now that they're safely through to round 6. of a competition where they've reached the final for the last 2 years. Here's Vieira. There was a time when they reached the final 3 years running at the end of the 70s or beginning of the 80s, Arsenal. Forlan. Sylvester's overlapping. Fired in, and Keane could get underneath this. It's Neville. And again, they don't clear the first defender with the cross. Is that out of play? No, says the assistant. Rio Ferdinand robbed Thierry Henry. The ball stayed in play, and then Ashley Cole kicked it out. Well, yes, we're going to have 3 minutes of added time. I must say, I do think Jeff Winter's had a good game here, especially after the way it started. Forlan. Sylvester, Van Nistelrooy near post, goes behind him, Cole slips. Driven by Nicky Butt.
Unfortunately, Nicky Butt just come on, you can't really criticise him. Good run by Sylvester. It's only the last couple of minutes as he got in those attacking areas, which has been so prolific this season, and as it sort of goes out, you've got to see all the bodies running out. Ashley Cole was the nearest then, threw himself to try and block any shot, and Butt clears it, and there's a dissatisfied home fans making their way home.
Well, it hasn't been one of the more memorable days for Manchester United supporters, to say the very least. Might be harsh to say it, but at times they've been outpassed. And Arsenal may yet bring on Kolo Touré, who started, in fact, in the third and fourth round of this competition. 21-year-old from the Ivory Coast. Barthez finds Neville. And those 9,000 Arsenal fans are making all the noise here in stoppage time. And it's a very subdued home following now, largely because of the way Arsenal have locked up the midfield. This is Solskjaer. Now then, is there a late rally here? Sylvester in a lot of space. Van Nistelrooy goes far post. Oh, good challenge, Keown. Leaves his man on the ground, and Arsenal bring the ball away.
Great tackle. Sylvester, good run, just knocked it a little bit too hard on the first touch, and Marty came in with a crunching tackle, and that really just sums up the commitment Arsenal have shown throughout the match and throughout the pitch, and have always been that yard or two quicker.
Vieira, Wiltord, Henry in the centre. The last minute of stoppage time now. Quick summing up, Trevor.
Well, no question, the 2-0 scoreline thoroughly deserved. Excellent second-half performance, I thought, by Arsenal. Manchester United, a little bit following on from the derby against Man City when they fell away a bit in the second half, only drew. They've not been able to get the game together. The Giggs miss certainly, I think, will turn out to be critical, wasn't it? Because a couple of minutes up there, really, you had the sort of distraction of the deflection and the free kick. Really, once Arsenal got ahead, Manchester United have not offered too much, really, John, and one or two of their players haven't been at their best.
That's absolutely so. Touré is, yes, he is coming on just in time, I think, for the last few seconds of play. Wiltord, the goal scorer in the second half, looks like the man to come off, although he's a long way away at the moment. Yes, he's seen the board, which is some achievement in the sunshine. You can never read the numbers, I don't think. But anyway, here he comes, and well played Wiltord. In the absence of Bergkamp and for a long time Henry, he really led the charge.
Was a key squad man, because when Lundberg isn't there, he plays wide on either flank when Perez was injured. Used to be with Bordeaux more of a forward player where he's been today, but again, Arsene Wenger then developed him as a wide midfield player, similar to like Lundberg and Perez, where they make those runs, and really has done excellent today as a striker, and there's the celebrations.
And as the Manchester United fans get up and leave, 9,000 Arsenal supporters celebrate their club's passage through into the sixth round. Arsenal, the holders, have won this one by the standards of these matches quite comfortably. They're applauding particularly Edu, who had an excellent game in midfield, His free kick was deflected past Barthez for the first goal on 35 minutes. Sylvain Wiltord got the second on 52. The star for me was Vieira, and the Arsenal players are going towards their supporters in that corner, and don't ever run away with the idea that the FA Cup doesn't mean anything to players like Arsene Wenger's. Losers at Cardiff 2 years ago, winners last year. Are they on their way there for the third season running? You wouldn't put it past them. They're the first name through to the quarter-finals. At Old Trafford, it finished Manchester United 0, celebrating Arsenal 2.
Well, I would imagine they're quite strong favourites at the moment with the bookmakers, and it was quite an easy, comfortable win for them in the end,
They played exceptionally well in the second half. We see all the time, if you've got talented players that are committed and hungry, then it's a simple equation. If you've got control of the ball, you've got control of the game. And that's what happened in the second half. They passed it, they moved, they've got multi-talented players, and they won quite easily in the end. Disappointed in Manchester United. They're 2-0 down at home. You expect some sort of surge. You expect the ball to be pinging about in Arsenal's penalty box. You expect the crowd to get behind the team, but they went out well whimper. Very disappointing.
Yeah, Arsenal, I won't say they played exceptionally well. I thought it was a quite boring game in many ways. But what they did really well, they controlled the whole game. They never, once they were 1-0 up, they just sat back and